travel in the stillness of night. The night was still, the kind of stillness that hangs heavy in the air, making every sound feel amplified. I had just settled into bed, the soft glow of my bedside lamp casting faint shadows across the room, when I noticed it, prickles of discomfort running down my spine. I initially brushed it off, attributing the feeling to an overactive imagination fueled by the ghost stories I had devoured earlier that week. But then I saw it. At the edge of my bedroom, cloaked in darkness, a figure emerged, almost blending into the shadows. I couldn't make out its form, but what I distinctly remember were its eyes, piercing, glowing red, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent chills coursing through my body. My heart raced, and I found it difficult to breathe, as if the air had thickened around me. Panic rose within me, but I was paralyzed, unable to flee or even blink. The being remained silent, its gaze unwavering. I could sense a weight in the air, an oppressive force that twisted the atmosphere into something malevolent. I fought the urge to scream, fearing that breaking the silence might provoke the creature. Each second felt like an eternity as I was caught in that agonizing stare, feeling like prey in the presence of a predator that thrived on fear. Just when I thought I might pass out from sheer terror, it shifted slightly, as if pondering my existence, before fading back into the inky blackness from whence it came. Once the figure disappeared, a hushed silence enveloped the room, but the fear lingered. I lay there, heart pounding, questioning my sanity while glancing nervously at the corners where shadows danced. I thought about turning on the lights, but a part of me dared not provoke whatever I had just encountered. Sleep evaded me that night, and ever since, the thought of those haunting red eyes continues to loom over my mind like a specter, reminding me that sometimes the darkness hides.
I drove down the narrow, winding road, cloaked in the thick darkness of a moonless night. An unsettling stillness enveloped me. The trees loomed on either side, their gnarled branches clawing at my car like skeletal fingers. The faint hum of my engine was drowned out by the oppressive silence, punctuated only by the occasional rustle of leaves. I was already on edge, but that's when I saw it, a flicker of light ahead, dancing just beyond the tree line. My heart raced. I leaned forward, squinting through the windshield, trying to make sense of it. As I approached, the light grew more defined, revealing the silhouette of a figure standing beside the road. It was a woman, her ethereal form glowing faintly in the darkness. Long, flowing hair framed her pale face, and her wide, sad eyes seemed to gaze right through me. It felt as if time had stopped. I was both terrified and entranced. I slammed on the brakes, tires screeching as I came to a halt just feet away from her. The air turned heavy, and an icy shiver ran down my spine. Suddenly, she lifted her hand, beckoning me closer. Confusion flooded my mind. Who was she? What did she want? Just as I summoned the courage to open my door, she smiled, a sorrowful expression that seemed to carry the weight of untold stories. Then, in a heartbeat, she vanished. One moment, she was there, and the next, the road was empty, save for the fog that began to swirl around my car. Panic surged through my veins as I fumbled with the ignition, desperately trying to make sense of what I had just experienced. My heart pounded in my chest as I sped away, vowing never to drive that road again, forever haunted by the spirit who had reached out.
On the outskirts of a forgotten town, nestled between twisted trees and shrouded in an eternal fog, stood an old Victorian mansion known as Ravenwood Hall. Once a vibrant home filled with laughter and warmth, the house had succumbed to years of neglect, its paint peeling and windows shattered, giving it an eerie, skeletal appearance. Locals whispered tales of its tragic past, recounting the story of a young woman named Eliza who vanished on a stormy night, forever tied to the fate of the house. The new owner, a curious historian named Hannah, was drawn to the mansion, captivated by its melancholy allure and the mystery of Eliza's fate. Determined to document its history, she set foot into the dimly lit foyer, her heart pounding in rhythm with the house's quiet whispers. As night fell and shadows danced across the walls, Hannah began to hear faint melodies, ghostly echoes of a lullaby that seemed to drift from the attic. Ignoring the unease curling in her stomach, she climbed the creaking staircase, each step resonating like a funeral dirge. When at last she reached the door to the attic, she found it slightly ajar, a cold breeze rushing past her as if inviting her in. Inside, the attic was a relic of the past, filled with dust-covered furniture and forgotten treasures. But as Hannah stepped further into the room, she was enveloped by an overwhelming sense of sorrow. That's when she saw her, a translucent figure adorned in a flowing white dress, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Eliza's spirit lingered in the air, trapped between worlds, eternally mourning her unfulfilled dreams. With an uncanny sense of recognition, the two women locked eyes, and in that moment, Hannah understood that Eliza had never left. Her presence was a haunting reminder of love, lost, and secrets buried deep within Ravenwood Hall's walls, waiting for someone courageous enough to unveil them. The chilling realization washed over her. Some ghosts were not just here to haunt, but to seek redemption, and she was now woven into the very fabric of their story. Thank you for watching. Please like